stream. I am Roland Taylor, for those of you who don't know, and for those of you who are new, welcome, special welcome to you, because this will obviously be your first time. This evening I'm going to be doing some CSS freestyling basically, so I'm going to do a mock-up of a website very quickly, and I'm going to build that in CSS and HTML and see how that goes. Also, another thing, I'm planning to do a wallpaper if I have time before I close out the stream, before I close out the stream. I won't do it at the start this time around. So I also have Inkscape open, and you should get to see me do some designing at some point, other than a mock-up, of course. But you can drop your suggestions in the chat, even as I'm designing, because I'll be most likely taking some hints and some instructions from you this evening, because it's a little bit of a different stream this time around. I'm not really so much teaching, I'm just going to be jumping straight into freestyling. So without further ado, let me just drop a hint on Twitter and on Facebook to let people know that I'm on, and then we will get right to it. Alright, I just posted on Twitter. If you are so inclined, you can share as well. Let people know that I'm live on Twitter, on Twitch. I nearly said live on Twitter. I'm live on Twitch, so you can let your friends and family, etc. know. As I always say, you can let your dog know as well, because they may want to watch. Or if you have a cat, or you have a lizard, or you have a chicken. I love chickens, so if whatever you have, you can let your pets know as well. They might need to watch me. But all jokes aside, yes, you can share on your social media and let some others know. And yeah, that's it. So before I get into the actual design, let me just do a little bit of promotion here. This that you're seeing on the left side of the screen is a website template that I designed that will soon be available. I have to make some tweaks, as you can probably tell, because in Firefox this toolbar isn't working. Well, the button isn't working as it should in terms of the display, but it works otherwise, of course. So yeah, this is a website template that I built, and there are some others which I will show you shortly, and they will be available on my Teespring store, which is teespring.rolandixr.pro. If you're interested, you'll be able to buy those very soon. So just wanted to put a little plug in there. Let me show you also it's Photogenic and Peacekeeper. Let me show you that one. Wait, wrong URL. Let me go right back to sorry about that. Right, let me show you from here. I haven't finished this website yet, but you'll get to see the actual template. The templates are nearly complete, so they'll soon be available on my store. Here is Peacekeeper. This is actually my personal favorite. And there's some built-in documentation, which will be on a separate page eventually. These have not been written yet, so can't show you those, but I can show you this very cool close button. And guess what? All of this is CSS. The only thing that runs on JavaScript here is basically the action to click the buttons, but everything else is done by CSS. So even this close here is a pseudo element. The X is made from two pseudo elements. That's how they're animated. I think that's pretty cool. Don't you think that's pretty cool? I think it's cool. But yeah, all of those are pseudo elements. The close is not a pseudo element, sorry, that's a span. That's not a pseudo element, but Yeah, the X is a pseudo element, close is a span. Yeah, basically works like a component, but it's not React or Svelte or Vue or anything else. Yeah, it's cool. That's all it is, and it's pure CSS and HTML. And the only, as I said, the only JavaScript used in there is to actually click the buttons, because you can't click a button with CSS. If there was a way to do that, I'd probably do it, and I probably will eventually find a way to do it, because I love playing around with CSS and finding new ways to use it. These here will eventually open up full pages. I haven't written those as yet, and I haven't written the pages that you can read more on either, but yes, just demonstrating to you how cool they look. Oh, and this is also a pretty cool thing. These are pseudo elements to tell you which social network you're hovering. I'm going to eventually add a media query so that they only show on desktop platforms or environments, I should say, on desktop environments, because you can't use hover on mobile devices. So there's actually a media query that you can use, which will detect if your device supports touch or not, and if it does not support touch, you can disable certain features in CSS. So I'm going to be utilizing that and making this more responsive, basically. But it is responsive already, just so you know. Just I want to make it even more responsive. So let me show you how everything looks on mobile. I have to fix this rounding here too. Yeah, but in any case, this and the other theme that I showed you, and some others I'm working on, will be available from my Teespring store. Oh, let me show you this last one before we jump in to designing. This is Elements. This is one of my personal favorite designs as well, and it actually comes with different themes built in. All of these use CSS custom properties, aka CSS variables, and that's why you're able to change the background so quickly, because it's literally just changing the class on the body and all the variables get changed immediately. But I'll be showing you how to do that possibly in this very stream itself when I start freestyling. Yeah. Alright, so with all of that said and done, let me create a new project and let's get started. Still have not, I don't think I did at least, I don't think I've installed the auto reload plugin on Atom, so somebody remind me to do that at some point in time, because I usually don't remember. Alright, let me add a project folder. Just call this one freestyle, and as I said earlier, you can give me suggestions if you want. Yep, I have wobbly windows, and this is actually GNOME Shell. This is not Compiz. But I couldn't live without those wobbly windows. I had to go back to basics.
Love it when I turn off the bass.
Oh no, the music has talking in it. I wasn't expecting that.
They love it when I turn off the bass.
Kind of funny, by the way, this is a totally unrelated thing, but it's kind of funny, by the way, how jQuery and Bootstrap were so ubiquitous at one point that this template that I have installed on Atom always has Bootstrap and jQuery included when you create a new HTML file. But I don't use them anymore, so it kind of has become annoying, to be honest. Alright, so let me pull up Inkscape and let's do... I forgot I had Inkscape open since last night. That was a presentation that I actually used. Well, no, I didn't use it. I was working on it last night, but I was supposed to finish it, and I didn't remember that. In any case, let us get to designing. So, as I said, you can give me suggestions if you want. I'm going to be just basically freestyling a design, a website design, and then I'm going to turn this mock-up into actual code. I think I'm going to go with something black and white today.
They love it when I turn up the bass.
Any website, doesn't really matter what it is, because this is just freestyle. This is random as ever, basically. I do this sometimes on my own when I'm not streaming, for practice, for therapy, for fun. Believe it or not, I sit and write CSS frameworks as therapy, which I know is very weird, but I actually do that. Put something in the center here. This will probably be replaced by an image. Actually, you know what? I wonder. I think I'm gonna do rounded corners at the bottom and straight corners at the top. That will look pretty cool on a website. I like to innovate sometimes. This is very, very rough, by the way, so don't take this too seriously. Oops, wrong thing selected. Right, this would actually be pretty cool too. Keep selecting the wrong thing. Time to use some layers. Let's move everything in the bottom layer. Move this one up. Pop that. Now I can move this as I want it. I'll work with this. Oh, I definitely would work on the Inkscape website. Now that you mentioned that, I just remembered that I also have another website that I should be working on that I am contributing to, and I kind of forgot. I need reminders in life in general. Yep, added to the task list. My task list is so long, you cannot believe it. There's so many things that I write down on a particular day and then forget within 5 minutes, and then 5 years later I'll remember it and go, oh yeah, I was supposed to do that. And I'm not kidding about 5 years, but I literally mean 5 years later I'll remember it. Kudos to those who have had to wait on me to complete anything, because I usually won't remember. So their patience is appreciated. I'm just gonna put this here as a random footer of some sort. Alright, so let me jump straight over to the CSS now. Well, not the CSS, to the actual web development, web design, whatever we want to call it today. Let me close this. Why doesn't Inkscape want to be on the side today? I guess it's being special. Or it doesn't want to be resized like that. Oh, it doesn't want to be resized. No problem. Alright, so let me see. The elements I'm going to need are a nav. And by the way, small tip for those who are new coders, or those who do code, well, I should say code websites, but who are not really familiar with the steps that you should take before you jump in. One of the reasons why you can use mockups and stuff a lot is because you can identify the elements that you're going to use before you actually get to it. Oh, have a good evening, Marhin. Thanks for joining. Glad to have you here. One of the people I have looked up to for many years in design, in the design space. And thank you for your work on Inkscape. Very, very, very useful. Now, for those, as I was saying, who are new to web design, and those who have been around for a while and don't really think about this, as I was saying, you can use mockups and assessment, if you want to call it that. Similar to how you do systems analysis, you can do design analysis, so you can determine the elements that you need before you get to coding. Then that can help you to figure out the classes that you're likely to need before you actually write them. Oh, by the way, sorry about not being zoomed in. I know that was kind of hard to see, my apologies. Now, since this nav is going to be at the top of the page, and it's going to be above everything else in the Z index, I'm going to actually put it at the bottom. Oops, not. I didn't mean to add a table foot. I meant to add a comment. Then we're going to have a header, and that's this gray box that you can see here. I'm going to add a class to these two. I forgot to do that earlier. So the class of the header is just going to be header. Yeah, let's just leave it at header. And nav, or nav main. It's better to name it with the element first. And in the middle of this page we have a section. I don't think we need any article necessarily, but then again I'll still add one. And then I'm going to add some paragraph elements. We'll figure out what to drop into those eventually. I'll add 5 for now. Now, by the way, I don't have to use classes for everything, but typically it's wise to use classes for most stuff unless you're definitely sure that you're not going to be reusing elements. Like say if you only have one of each element in a page, then you can just go ahead and use your elements as selectors, but I typically tend to use classes for just about everything, except for when I'm writing kind of like proof of concept framework. Like there's a framework I wrote called Dragon Fruit, which I have not completed yet. I need to get back to that. Let me pull it up for you. Oops. Oh, am I typing today? Yeah, as you can see, this does need some work, at least in being responsive. But yes, this is Dragon Fruit CSS, and almost everything in Dragon Fruit basically works with elements and selectors, so you don't need classes for the majority of what you're doing, except for like the body of the code has Dragon Fruit as the class, and then a few other things have different classes to give you styles and stuff like that. Like take for instance this purple label here has its own class. All these here are different classes for the buttons. But you can use, in Dragon Fruit, the idea is that you can use elements and selectors for almost everything. And it kind of restricts you, but it still gives you the freedom of just dropping in elements to your code and, you know, that's it. But the reason why I would not suggest doing this on a regular basis is because although it gives you the freedom to just use selectors in your code, it also can create issues with specificity and other stuff. So typically you want to use classes more than you use elements as selectors. Alright, so back over to here. Do I need anything else? Oh, yes, I do. I'm going to add probably not a label, so I'll be lazy and use divs. I'm not sure what they're going to be yet, but we're going to have at least 2 blocks in the nav bar. I'm going to add an anchor element, and another anchor element, and another anchor element. For the title in the nav bar, I'm probably going to use let me just use a div again, because I can't remember the semantic element for that offhand right now. Well, let's add some more links. These will probably be social media links here. And oh yes, I forgot to add a footer at the bottom. Alright, so now on to the CSS. We have... Alright, let me add a class to this section. We'll call this page body. So we have page body, header, nav main, and footer will be I'm being kind of lazy and duplicating everything. Let me make this actually in alphabetical order. So for the footer, position is fixed. Bottom, let's go play VH. Width, that should be, I think it's fit content. Yeah, it is. And also we need for Firefox that Moz prefix. The header will be, that doesn't need any position, so I will just make the height on this about 35 VH. Let's make the border, I don't remember which comes first, so I will kind of wing this. Make it black for now, but it's actually going to be an image eventually. Alright, so I have one of them right and one of them wrong. Wrong. One the other one. Alright. So. Alright, I remember now. First one and last one. That should be it. No, it isn't. What did I do? I never remember these. I need to memorize them, but I never remember. Oh, really? It has to be the last two now. I'm not even really keeping track of what I'm doing. There we go. It's the last two. I should remember that. I'm obviously going to forget this in like 5 minutes. And by the way, you don't need to remember everything when it comes to design and stuff like that. And coding, I should say. It's going to happen, you're going to forget you're a human being. I don't even bother to try to remember. Oh, another thing, as you'll notice, there's some padding on the body that we don't want, so you should usually set some settings on your body to turn off that stuff. So, not potty. What is potty? Padding. Margin 0, padding 0, that should do it. Right, there we go. There's still some space at the top, so let me inspect this and see what's going on. I see no sign of any margins or padding on there. Margin 0 on this as well, just in case, even though I don't see it in the inspector. Oh, wait a minute, you know what I'm not remembering? There's a nav on this. Let me see if the nav is the issue. But no, the nav can't be the issue because I haven't positioned it yet. In any case, we'll fix that. Top 0, left 0, right 0. Height 50px. Put this stuff in alphabetical order. Alright, let's leave this without the background. I don't really need to put background color transparent. I don't know why I was supposed to do that. Display flex. Flex. Flow roll. No wrap. Align items. Center. Justify content, space between. So this will put stuff on either end of this nav. You know what I forgot to do, folks? I forgot to rename the stream today. Oh well, I'll do that after. Or then again, you know, I just remembered I can actually do that from my laptop. So let me see if I can do that right away. Twitch apparently has changed something on their website layout, so I can't change it. Or can I? Oh wait, I can. Yeah, cool. Let me fix that. Fixed and done. But I still can't hear myself for some reason. Okay, now I can hear myself. I was muted. Okay, so the page body, we will position the, well, we're not going to position this. We're going to just put a margin on the sides and the top. So on the top, it's going to be -5 VH, and on the sides, it's going to be, let's go with 10 VH, V-width, sorry, for now. The bottom is 0, and the other side, yeah, 10 v width. So that's v width. Let's give it a background and a shadow. Forgot to do, give it a height, or at least padding of some sort, so you won't be able to see it. Let's go with 15px. I tend to like to use that. There we go. Let's change this to intro instead of paragraph. This music is getting boring. I'm going to change it shortly. I would love to find some Afro beats to use on my stream, but I don't know where to find free Afro beats. Yeah, that's a side note though. So anyway. Now I'm going to just put in some random nonsense so we have some space in here. I love putting in foolishness in my website designs. Of course, I can't actually sell something like that with all the foolishness on it, but I love to put it in anyway. Alright, so let's put some style on this stuff now. Page body. H1. Typically, what you can do for this is give either the body or the parent a font and a font size. Well, a font size really, and then you can have your font size on your other elements be relative to that. So what I'm going to do is make the font size 15 px on the body, and then I'm going to make the size of the font relative to that on the header, you know, maybe like not 200%, but something pretty substantial. So let's go with 135. Oops, forgot to type that in. 135%. Let's just leave that at 100%. Don't really need font size on this, don't know what I think about it. So let me take that out. That was kind of redundant. I'm going to put letter spacing at 0.5 px. Doesn't always show up on all browsers, but it might work on newer browsers. Line height is going to be, let's go with 35 px. Let's see if that's adequate. Yeah, there it is. Let's make this a little bigger. Yeah. And text transform, make that uppercase. Whoops. Should I put any other styling on this? Actually, yes, I will. Font weight. Later. Spacing, and then I can just have everything else inherit that. Something you can do in CSS, by the way, identify the parent elements and basically things that have higher priority, and then you can drop your styles on them, and you don't have to put styles on everything else or repeat yourself in a lot of cases. So it actually can save you a lot of typing. Text align center. Let me look back at this mockup and see if I'm missing anything. I don't think so. Font size is a little bit small, so I'll make this bigger. And before I go any further, let me grab a Google font, because everybody has to use a Google font these days. Never mind that I have Lato installed on my system. Oops. Fonts.google.com, not google.com.
This is Phase Ed Music.
Something I don't really understand about Google Fonts, by the way, is that they give you different weights, but your browser doesn't really always respect that, and it doesn't always really make any difference. I'm not really sure why that's the case. Why is there a big gap here? Now, for those of you who are new to my streams and may be wondering, why is this guy using CSS variables when they're totally not necessary? You can probably watch my past streams for a live demonstration of that, but I'll just give you the brief rundown of it. I use CSS variables for almost everything because it makes it very easy to theme things and switch things out quickly. So like this page here, I'll actually be able to add multiple styles within my CSS using CSS variables and switch them with JavaScript on the fly. And it looks really cool. And if you didn't catch the start of the stream, stay tuned because I'll demonstrate again before we clock out, and you'll get to see just how cool it works in real life. Oop, not font, wait. I meant font family. I missed it. Little temporary lapse in thinking just now. Alright, anything else I'm missing? I don't think so. Actually, you know what? Let me move this up to the header. Text transform, uppercase again. Letter spacing this time will be wider, so we will go with something like 200%. Better since this is it 0.5 by default? Yes it is. So let's go with 250%. Color will be white. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to add a background image, so let me just pull up one quickly. I'll get to incorporate some more Inkscape in this. Oh wait, G-Thumb is open. I don't know why I went and clicked on open when I can just click and drag. I'm trying to find a picture that looks kind of modern and fancy and all that stuff. I could do this on stream, like let y'all actually see. Yeah, I'll let y'all see. I have 1,000,001 photos in my downloads folder that I downloaded from my phone. And don't worry, nothing creepy or weird, just I'm a photographer, so there's a lot of cool stuff. Oh, that looks nice. I like this. And by the way, you can grab this here and other photos on stuff like shirts and prints and all that other stuff on my Redbubble store. So just a shameless plug for that. You can find the links on my channel and also on my pinned tweet on Twitter. This to the top layer. Turn those off. And now I will turn this into our background image. So width 1024, height 512. center that on the page, grab that, set clip. Let me actually change this page to be the same height. Save myself some trouble. There we go. I don't need this mockup any longer, so I'll just delete those two layers and duplicate this layer. Set this one to screen to brighten things up a bit. And I'm going to blur it. Not too much, of course. Duplicate it again, bring it down in the blur, and let me see which effect I'm going to go for this time. Mobile color dodge, turn that down. Alright, and now I'm going to do something that I would have demonstrated early on when I first started streaming, but I haven't done it in a little while. I'm going to use layer effects to give this a kind of Instagram look. So for those of you who did not see my early streams, you'll get to learn how this works. Oops, not stroke paint, fill is what I'm looking for. Right, there we go. Wait, I'm in the wrong place. Not on fill. I want it on layer. There we go. And by the way, I'm just trying these different layer effects to see which one I prefer at this point in time. Alright, now I can move this down and see where it fits best. Duplicate it. Oops, what did I just do? Duplicate. Move you up. Alright, I think that looks good enough. What I'm going to do is actually duplicate this again, and I'm going to turn the opacity all the way up, and now I'm going to use a gradient to make this look as though it's going from a color into the image. Let me lock that down here, lock this up here. Flip it. I think hard light does the best job on that. Alright, I'm going to stick with this for now. I can obviously sit and play with this all day, but we don't have time for that. Alrighty. Now, before I go any further, let me just let you know I also have a free CSS library, not trying to sell you something this time, that you can use for similar effects. It's called Iguana and it's available on my website. It actually has technically its own website. I'll show you in a couple seconds. Just trying to find back where there we go. I was trying to find back where Twitch was because I couldn't actually see what it was doing. Okay, so let me show you Iguana. This is the local version of it. But alright, let me go ahead on my website. I need to admit this is subdomain at some point, but I have never actually gone around to doing that. And this website does need a few updates, but in any case, just so you know, this is a free CSS library that you can use, you can edit, you can do whatever you want with it. I didn't even add a license to it, but it gives you some nice Instagram effects, and they're all done with CSS, so you don't need anything extra. The coolest part about this, to me at least, is that Iguana doesn't actually require you to do anything like with JavaScript or whatever, and the images are not modified on the back end or anywhere really. It's just filters. So since it's just filters, it's very fast, and yeah, it's lightweight, it's easy to use, all that stuff. So if you like it, grab it. I had added more filters, by the way, but I haven't uploaded them yet. I'll probably get around to that when I actually have settled on which ones I like most, and then I'll make the updated version available. Alright, so that was that. Let me jump back over to here. So we're going to take out the background color, and we are going to replace that with background image. Oops, background image URL, and you always have to put it relative to your CSS code. So you need to go up by one directory, go to img and header pg.png, background attachment. I don't think we need that one, do we? No, we don't. This background. Click. I always forget these properties. Background position is center. You would not believe that I write CSS practically every day, but there are some things that I just never remember. Alright. These are the three that I wanted, I believe. Okay, good. I think I may actually use some effects, like maybe what you might call it, a pseudo element or something, to give this some even cooler looks at some point. Alright, so font size 300%, display flex, justify content center, align item center. This letter spacing needs to go up by quite a bit, so let's use for 50%. Still not enough. Is it even changing anything though? I just realized that. Let me see, because Firefox may not be recognizing that half pixel. It isn't even recognizing my letter spacing as anything. Alright, so let me set this manually instead. I need to check the documentation on that and see if it doesn't pull from the body, and that's probably why. Okay, that looks better. Alright, now let's add some items to this nav main. So we're gonna add nav area left and nav area right. For this, you just need merging right to be auto. Actually, technically I don't need a merging on these because since I have space between on them, it should put them on either side. So just so we know where they are, I'm going to give them a border each. Border 1px solid RGBA 235, 235, 235, 0.5. And right about now, you should be able to see what they look like. There's nothing in them, so they're not really showing anything. I've been doing not really impressions, but like different voices and accents the whole day, so if it comes out tonight, that's why. Sorry for that break in transmission. I think my internet just had a hiccup or something. Alright, what was I adding to this now? Alright, so these here, I'm going to add padding to them. I'm going to go with 0 and actually not yet, so let me go with 1 feet width. Nav area left and right A. So that's the anchor tags, or elements I should say. Border radius 100%, and their height 50px, width 50px, display flex, justify content center, align item center. Now technically I could actually simplify this code quite a bit by finding everything that's going to use all these same property values for, well, property value pairs for Flexbox, and just drop them all under one selection block and or declaration block and have them all use that same thing. But for the sake of being able to actually code everything straight away, that's why I'm not doing that. But sometimes what I'll do is, if I have, like, say a framework, or I have an actual project that I'm working on and I've done everything, I'm sure where everything has to go, to reduce the amount of code that I use, I will go back through and identify everything that's sharing code and put them all under one block. Oh, one thing I forgot to do. If not, everything will come down in a column. So, right, now they're side by side. Let's give them a hover effect and a transition. Transition duration will be 0.5 seconds, and the transition timing function will be ease in out. That can all be put on one line too, by the way. But I don't always remember the shorthand code for transitions, so I'm actually gonna probably turn off the music at this point. I need Afro beats in my life, so if anybody has some links to some copyright-free Afro beats, let me know. Oh, let me do something else here. Nav area left, I'm gonna turn off the border on the left. Border left none, and nav area right. I'm gonna turn off the border on that. And I'm going to give them a border radius on either side. Border radius right, or bottom right. No, that should be bottom left. Alright, there we go. Now for the hover styles I was working on earlier, background color, let's go with 35, 35, 35, 0.5. Good, now they're visible. Turn that down a bit and put a shadow on them. By the way, if you're hearing like squeaking or whatever noise you want to identify that as, those are what we call whistling frogs, and once you're in the Caribbean you will hear them. Once it's nighttime, that's normal here, basically. Okay, why does this one have a radius and this one does not? Did I miss something? Oh, yes I did. Missing semicolon strikes again. Alright, let's design a nice logo for this. all these layers can come out. In fact, before I do that, let me save this as freestyle sources. And then I'm going to save as local. Inkscape, why aren't you letting me select more than one layer at a time? I thought we were friends. Apparently we're not friends today. Okay, no problem. Alright, so let me draw this a nice logo. Sometimes this mic is too good because I can actually hear myself breathing. That's kind of creepy. I'm trying to get something fancy here, so long as my system doesn't slow down when I'm drawing too much. Yeah, it is doing that, which is slightly annoying. I mean, I can fix it after, but I really don't like when it does that. That line is not coming out as clean as I want. Let me see if I do it this way. Okay, yeah, it is coming out a little cleaner. But it's just the system itself is lagging a bit. Probably means that GNOME Shell is using too much CPU. I'll have to fix that after I stream. I wonder if there's a way to smooth lines out automatically without using Auto Smooth, because Auto Smooth is too smooth and I don't like that. Symmetric doesn't do what I want. There are certain things that you only remember to look up when you're actually doing something, and that's one of them. I haven't remembered to look for that online to see if there are any other smoothing options in Inkscape. But I definitely would love to know if there exists. Like if I could do that manually, similar to sculpting or something like that. I just realized that without the music you can even hear when they put the pen down from the tablet. That is cool and creepy at the same time. Just goes to show this mic is very strong. kind of funny, right? But seeing as there's nobody else here right now but us, I kind of feel like, like in the movies when the teacher is not around and the students run up and down the hallways, I kind of feel like doing that for right now. See if I can get this perfectly like I want it. Or not. Okay. Inkscape is not responding. Or is it stuck between two opinions? Ah, I see what it did. Alright, this is a slightly different looking logo, but I like it. I'm going to turn this white and export it. Wait, before I do that, let me make sure the size is correct. Might be a little big, but we will see. This class could probably come out altogether. Not class, this div. Unless I drop the image inside of it. It's usually best to put your image inside of a container. So I will do that in this case. I'll keep the div. I don't like how this mic is picking up every single sound coming from me. It feels really weird. But then again, I don't usually listen to myself when I'm on stream, so I guess that's contributing to the feeling. Alright, let's call this nav title. And where will we drop it in? Around here. Nav title. Does it? Yeah. Let's go with display, flex, justify content center again. I will get back to nav title itself in a little bit. The image is the most important part for me right now. So height will be auto. Width will be actually no, let me put width as auto and height as 90%. Yeah, that should do it. That is huge. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Nav title needs to be actually some kind of height, so 100% should do it. No, it did not. Let's make it 50px just like the nav itself. Alright, what am I missing here? I am forgetting something and I'm trying to remember what it is that I'm forgetting. Do I even have the image inside of it though? Ah, you know what it is. Nav area itself does not have a height. I hope that height 100% works. I cannot remember offhand, so we will have to do some trial and error and see if I am correct. I was correct, but the image is now the wrong height. Oh, you know what? I forgot to add IMG. How did I miss that? That is hilarious. Sometimes you go fixing bugs that aren't there and then you realize, oh yeah, I forgot to add something. That's pretty important. Oh wait, let me add a margin around these. By the way, I'm taking far too long to design this because this is supposed to be rapid and I am taking much longer than I predicted within my own head. We will have to go with 40px and 40px. Alright, that works. We make nav title even cooler. Let's add some animation to it and add an actual title. What am I missing here? Oh, right, text transform. Oh, you know what? Let's leave that as lowercase. I'm going to grab another font from Google Fonts and use that instead. Need to keep my naming scheme consistent, so I will need to switch that around. And why did I put these here instead of here? I wish Google Fonts had Alexander. That's one of my favorite fonts and it looks really cool. But I don't think it's freely available. At least I'm not sure. But I haven't seen it on Google Fonts. Dancing script might do the trick. this does not belong here. Let me take that out. I cannot believe I missed that all this time. Right, there it is. Now we know it's there. We can hide it. In fact, no, let me not use display none. I'm going to animate this too. So I will use transform scale 0, transform origin, let's put that to the left. Right, there we go. Now we can actually make that animated for real. So transition, 1 second. What is the shorthand for transitions again? Let's grab this quickly. Transition, CSS shorthand. Cool. It's a bit slow, so let's make that faster. Oh, to improve your transform animations, you can use opacity combined with transform. That usually makes things look a lot better. Yep, looks much better now, and I can slow this down as well. The other thing I'm going to do is actually add a margin to this so that it... My brain just froze, sorry about that. So that when it is hovered, that it doesn't overlap anything. I approximate that this is about 45 pixels, roughly. No, it's probably more than that. Let me give it 65 pixels. That animation could be tweaked a bit, but I will not play around with that for the rest of the night. Somehow I feel like this is too wide. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, it definitely is. I'm going to need to find a fix for that. So what I'm going to do, instead of using width, I'm going to use margin. And that should fix it. Yep, it does. There we go. Beautiful. Alright, so I'm going to take out, actually, this is terrible for accessibility, but I'm going to take this out. Take out the F. So I need to move that across just a bit. Yep, perfect. So now the logo and the title of the text of the title actually work together. Move that across just slightly. Being my perfectionist self. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so this extra border can come off. I'm going to give these anchor elements a little more spacing. And let me actually give them some images as well. So for that, I'm going to grab from one of my own icon themes. I can actually open them from over here. In fact, this will take forever, so it will probably be best if I just copy these manually for now. In terms of being responsive, I'm going to need to change this nav into an actual foldable menu. So let me do that quickly. what is it? I keep forgetting this every time I go to type it. And I remembered it just a few days ago, and now I can't remember it. It's media something something less than whatever blah blah blah. Can't remember it now. That's not what I'm looking for. Oh, right. And main width, that's the one I was looking for. Alright, so what this will do, this block will actually turn